As with the other vaults, Vault 96 was sealed shut during the Great War in 2077. Constructed around 2074 and completed in August 2077, Vault 96 advertised itself as an ark for the atomic age. Vault 96 was one of the world's largest cryogenic storage facilities, with approximately 10,000 animals preserved within it. Vault 96's public mission was to monitor post-war surface conditions, the damage caused genetically to local fauna, and reintroduce species to restore ecological balance. Once the vault was sealed, the mission received an addendum to the residents, revealing that their true mission was far more complex, requiring the conducting of genetic experiments to explore mutated fauna and to develop countermeasures for them. The results of these studies were then to be transmitted to external facilities. The quotas were weekly, made up by the mainframe, and assigned to the overseer to distribute to the residents. The overseer would track progress and ensure results in addition to assigning quotas. The total duration of the vault was supposed to be 250 weeks at least, after which all the residents were to be exterminated, and only the overseer permitted to leave. As one final part of the vault's construction, a secret cryogenics bay 86, was installed. Containing a mysterious entity known only as X-001, the bay was only to ever be accessed by the automated research systems. The vault was made up of only 5 human residents: Overseer Eric DeMarcos, Jeanette Higgins, Hans Memling, Nina Valaya, and Molly Cooper. Each were highly gifted individuals, and incredibly specialized for their role in the vault, most coming from high-ranking executive positions and prestigious teaching careers. Upon closure of the vault, during their first weekly meeting session, the other residents expressed extreme discomfort and resentment towards Eric, due to the unethical research and apparent threat of elimination should any of the residents not comply with Eric's demands and quotas. Although the residents eventually settled into their new positions, it became clear quite quickly that the only necessary individuals were the biologists, with the other positions simply acting as a glorified support team. Beginning with a mere 4 credits per week, the biology staff maintained credit gain by forcing various experiments and experimental mutations upon creatures, and having them fight one another, documenting which mutations were stronger. Over the course of the next 3 years, the staff maintained their assigned duties, with the biology team documenting various mutations induced on the creatures housed within the vault, beginning with simple natural processes such as electrogenesis, venom, regeneration. By week 100, these mutations had gone into evolving chameleonization, pyrokinesis, and cryokinesis. During week 142, a mysterious new mutation was stumbled upon when the biologists inserted Specimen X-001's DNA into a petri dish, which spread to every other dish, mimicking the ability perfectly. Nina attempted to study the mutation with the subject it originated from, but did not have access to the mysterious and undocumented Bay 86. Shifting allowed creatures to teleport when stressed, but could lead to disastrous results, such as the subject phasing into another subject, fusing them together. By week 148, due to the lack of access to Specimen X-001 and the lack of ability to improve or stabilize the mutation, Nina was unable to meet the quota of 568 credits and was subsequently killed by the mainframe. The rest of the team confronted Eric, believing him to be responsible. However, after disabling the mainframe's monitoring system in the overseer's office, Eric made a revelation. For more than 2 years, he had quietly been working on an escape plan. Unbeknownst to the rest of the team, Eric had been just as much a prisoner of the mainframe as everyone else. He had finalized development of Seraph, a prototype computer virus originally meant for the DIA. Seraph was capable of taking over and defeating even the powerful mainframe intelligence. The plan was to use the virus on the mainframe, shutting it down, and escaping the day before quotas were due. However, while most events went well on the day of escape, the mainframe activated Superseding Protocol Omega, which resealed the vault and killed all its residents. However, the virus was ultimately uploaded and successfully shut down the mainframe, leaving the vault open. In addition, the animals began to escape, prompting the vault to begin activating the emergency management system to call for assistance. Sometime in 2103 or 2104, the vault became taken over by Edgar Blackburn, who needed research equipment to work on creating a superior strand of FEV to help humanity thrive in the wasteland. However, in doing so, Blackburn's team conducted harsh and fatal experiments in Vault 96 on non-consenting abducted people such as Cassie Halloway. Blackburn also once subjected a mole rat to several thousand volts. In order to acquire human test subjects and defend the vault, Blackburn contracted with a group of mercenaries called the Hellcat Company, who did not question the ethics of his work. In exchange for their services, Dr. Blackburn promised them the right to salvage the contents of the vault. Tally Lang and her group of Blood Eagles stormed into Vault 96, trailing some Hellcats and looking to loot the vault. The group included Needles, 8-Ball, and Dillo. Their actions led to the death of Woods and many mercenaries. Tally's group accidentally became locked in. Seeking Blackburn's trail, Odessa Valdez and a Vault 76 dweller investigate the vault. The vault dweller discovers a dying Woods and decides whether or not to kill Tally after freeing her crew. Valdez and the dweller discover Cassie locked within a chamber also containing Peterson and Wilkins. The trio are freed, and Valdez and the vault dweller eventually confront Blackburn in the overseer's office where he is apprehended.
All right, calm down. Calm down. We won't...
Calm down? Eric, what kind of scam is this?
Look, I know this isn't what you expected. I'm still trying to process it all too.
Bullshit. You worked for Vault-Tec. You had to know.
Jeanette, I already told you.
So, the door has sealed. There is no way for us to reopen it.
Apparently not.
And it's just the 5 of us in here?
That's right.
That's crazy. You could fit an entire town in here.
I want to know about the experiments. Are there really 10,000 creatures in cryo here?
And instead of preserving them, you want us to experiment on them, induce mutations, optimize for lethality.
Those are our orders. You will all have weekly research quotas to meet.
And if we refuse? Or fall short?
Anyone failing to meet their quota, or otherwise trying to rebel, will be eliminated.
You can't be serious.
Sir?
I'm afraid so.
Genetic Research Log, Week 100, Retrospective. Our first mutations were simple enough. Venom, regeneration, electrogenesis, natural phenomena with well-understood biochemical processes. Despite my initial misgivings, developing, adapting, and enhancing general-purpose mutagenic sequences has been a fascinating challenge. So much so that I fear we have set the bar too high. Eric's quotas are ever more aggressive, even as potential research targets grow increasingly elusive. Molly and I have moved on to more speculative mutations. Chameleonization, pyrokinesis, cryokinesis. But after that, I am less certain. This pace is maddening. How much longer can we maintain it?
Molly Cooper, Biology, Log 280. What is this? The specimen record is blank. No vitals, no measurements, no source data, just an ID, X-001. The cellular structure is unlike anything I've ever seen. I can't even identify the organelles. I ran it through the DNA sequencer twice, but nothing at all. I talked it over with Nina, and she's gonna try splicing it into some of the cellular structures at random, just to see what happens. It's a long shot, but we have a quota to meet. Fucking Vault-Tec.
Genetic Research Log, Week 142. Specimen X-001 has been a most remarkable success. I confess, I was skeptical when Molly showed me her analysis. There was little to work with, given its unique biology. As an initial bench test, I spliced each of our extant stable mutations into separate samples. They all worked flawlessly, as if we had spent months adapting them. And then the mutations spread. They somehow shifted from one sealed petri dish to the next until all the samples exhibited all of the mutations. Fascinating. I wanted to proceed to live subject testing immediately, but all of our attempts to resuscitate a specimen have been blocked. Hans is looking into it. In the meantime, this transference capability merits further investigation. Genetic log week 148, 148. There is little progress to report. Too little. The shifting mutation is still unstable. When stressed, subjects will shift, or phase, or whatever it is. It works, but it's inconsistent, uncontrollable. Without some understanding of the underlying physics or biology, there is little I can do to stabilize or improve on it. If I could study the original specimen, perhaps I could make some progress. But there is apparently only one subject in a secured cryonics bay with military access controls. I've no doubt Eric could get in, but he has refused. I have put everything into this research. I'm out of time. I will not make my quota. Forgive me, Molly.
Get a hold of yourself.
Bastard. Nina's dead. Eric, dead. All because of your damn quotas. If you can't show a little compassion, shut the hell up.
Hey, now.
I regret what happened to Nina. I truly do. But we're wasting time.
What?
There, that should disable the sensors. Now listen carefully. They aren't my quotas. They never have been. They're set by the mainframe. Look, here are next week's numbers.
God. There's no way.
Why didn't you tell us?
It's on a hair trigger. If it detects anything, any word of conspiracy or sedition, it will kill us. I had to be sure. The only way we survive the next week is to take it out.
You want us to fight our way out?
We don't have to. For the past 2 years, I've been working on a virus. Seraph. Upload it into the mainframe and it can take over. Shut down the system, the experiments, everything. It can let us out.
The EMS.
Won't be a problem. I designed that system. My students wrote the damn protocols. I can beat it.
We can't go on like this. I'm in. For Nina.
Jeanette? Hans?
All right.
Oh. What the hell? Sure.
Here's what I need from you. We move on Saturday, just before the quota check. Be ready.
Sensor discrepancy detected in the Overseer's office. Applying cancellation algorithm. Done.
Have a good week, everyone. Dismissed.
And down. Go, 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 go.
Robotics control failure in the mainframe wing. Activating emergency fabrication protocol FS-401.
Jeanette, circuits 10, 18, 57.
Got it.
Fabrication system offline. Activating emergency repair protocol CR-889.
889, that's... Hans, we need a reactor brownout.
All right. Give me a minute.
109's next. Jeanette?
Ready on the detonator.
Molly, are you in?
Sorry, just a...
Round out. In 3, 2, 1.
Power fluctuations detected in the engineering wing. Activating emergency stabilization protocol ES-109. Detonation in the cryogenics wing.
That should do it.
Activating superseding protocol Omega.
Eric?
That's not in the database. What?
I'm locked out!
Here, I got it. Cover the door. Damn it. Almost...
Data upload from compromised system detected. Suspect data stream has been quarantined.
What? Bypass! Bypass! Yeah!
All residents have been terminated. Operation successful. Have a nice day.
Personal log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn. Returned to Appalachia. After all these years, I have come back. Back to Appalachia. To West Virginia. To the home of my greatest personal and scientific failure. Academic research was a dead end. The world was descending into riots and ruin. Food shortages were increasing. Generating papers in a university lab to attempt to secure tenure seemed pointless. It felt irresponsible in the face of everything happening. Westtech approached me about joining the Greenhouse Initiative, genetic engineering to produce new crops and multiply production. It swept away my concerns about joining the private sector. Here was a chance to be on the cutting edge and solve real problems at the same time. Dr. Dumont described the goals of the Panimmunity Virion and the Greenhouse Initiative in terms that set my mind ablaze. There was satisfaction to be had there, doing the best work, advancing humanity, making the world better than it was. Then the funding vanished. The research staff was being cut with no explanation, simply a shift in priorities. Dumont begged me to stay, promising the new work would be vital and challenging. To my everlasting shame, I did. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn. Number 1. Under any other circumstance, it would feel foolish to begin recording these before my work has even meaningfully begun. I developed this habit during my graduate studies, a tool helping me as much to retain my insights as to preserve my failures. Here, when nothing about what I am to undertake is normal, I break with tradition and start these logs now. Posterity requires this moment be kept. What I am about to do will almost assuredly make of me a villain in the eyes of many. My work is distasteful and must be conducted in secret. Here, for whatever person may one day hear this, I say for the record that what I will do, I do out of love. An unselfish love that knows no rest. Not for a person. No cliched deceased spouse or lost child motivates me. Humanity is my love. Though none would accuse me of excess sentiment. We are a species tormented by the ravages of the Great War, reduced to vermin eking out an existence in the rubble of the world that was. The mistakes of my past are writ on the face of every survivor, living in fear of the mutated horrors that stalk the wasteland. I can correct this. I must. We are not meant to live like this. There is a way forward to free us from the horrors I, created. Yet I fear the failures that lie between me and the future I see. They will be many, and they will cause a great deal of pain before I am done. The sins of Westtech must be undone. The price will be extreme, but it must be paid. If my life is included in that price, I will pay it gladly. I record this log not to seek forgiveness. I neither deserve nor require it. I ask only that you, my hypothetical listener, know that the things to come are not the product of ill intent or a sadistic mania. One day, good will come of the evil I am set to do. I hope that you are there to see it and understand. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 5. The creators of the forced evolutionary virus were idiots savant. They saw weapons, soldiers to win a war that would end almost as soon as it began. They had discovered a means by which we could seize the reins of human evolution, and all they could envision was more efficient death. My colleagues at Westtech were likewise fools. They made the virus a plaything in Huntersville, their ant farm, shaking it to watch them scurry. The FEV was never meant to create abominations. At its core is something wondrous and hopeful. I will free it from what they made of it. Humanity will have the future it should have had, and a better human will build that world, free from fear. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn. Number 13. Whatever the prior occupants of this vault may have done, I must thank them, especially Chief Engineer Dr. Memling. The good doctor, while a respectable scientist in his own right, had the classic engineer's idiosyncratic approach to maintenance. His additions to the vault reactor and electrical subsystems provide me with ample points of connection to directly access mains power. Between this and certain defects in reactor shielding, I have invaluable resources for my research. My first attempts in this area are more disappointing, however. Lacking Memling's expertise, my electrical impedance tests failed dramatically. The unintentional discovery of a new method of rapidly cooking a mole rat fails even in that regard. Mole rat exposed to several thousand volts at significant amperage does not make for an appetizing sight. Nonetheless, these results are duly recorded, and I believe my understanding of the system is sufficient to produce more useful results in the future. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 17. I am no longer alone in this endeavor. Against all odds, I have made contact with a former colleague, Dr. Farha, whom fate preserved as it did me. Dr. Farha was reluctant when I first described my aims. The testing that will be required, and the failures, give her pause. Even at university, we clashed on the ethical boundaries of research. Regardless, I have convinced her to aid me despite her doubts. I will continue to work here in Vault 96 in secrecy. Dr. Farha, meanwhile, has established a laboratory suitable for mass production. She has acquired a foundling of sorts, a young woman by the name of Nellie Wright. She seems something of a prodigy. I believe it was Miss Wright's enthusiastic support of my ideas that convinced Dr. Farha to acquiesce to my request for aid. Farha has also brought in Jane. I knew him from university and our time at West Tech. This work is his chance at redemption as much as my own. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 22. In retrospect, my enthusiasm for the cryogenically preserved specimens in the vault was excessive, if not actually misplaced. I am down to the last 4 viable test subjects. Further research is at an impasse, unless I move to human subjects. Obtaining volunteers will be impossible. The necessary experimentation to even approach a functional result will be unavoidably fatal to some. I will have to take extreme measures to obtain subjects. Thousands, perhaps millions of lives will be saved. Utility trumps sentimentality. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 38. The capture of human test subjects is itself less difficult than I imagined. The people of Appalachia are in bad need of medicine, and lone travelers are easy to approach when one is a doctor. I tell myself these acts are necessary, the work too important, and I cannot complete it without living human subjects to experiment upon. It is I compound failure upon failure. In my quiet hours, I question what I have made of myself in pursuit of this goal. I began this enterprise fully cognizant of what it might take, but even with that foreknowledge, I could not comprehend the weight of it. Have I become no different from that fool Elias, a font of monsters with no humane end in sight? Am I deluded in believing myself capable of success? These moments pass. I push aside those doubts and focus on the work before me. The people of Appalachia need this. The world needs this. Let them vilify me when they learn what I have done. I will make a better future for them, even if I do not live to see it myself. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 57. I begin to doubt my own sanity at times. My efforts, while not without progress, continue to fail to bear real fruit. The FEV seems almost deliberately malignant, as if it had a consciousness, and rejects my every attempt to bend it toward a benevolent end. I've come to recognize the signs of imminent metastasis and conversion to the so-called super-mutant state. I am ill-equipped to deal with the product of such failure, and have taken to disposing of these unfortunates outside the vault itself. I regret that my current methods of disposal may, in the short term, increase the super-mutant population in Appalachia, but it cannot be avoided. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 112. My work's demand for human subjects has increased dramatically as I make ground toward my ultimate goal. To this end, I have contracted with a group of mercenaries calling themselves the Hellcat Company. Trustworthy, if such a term applies here. They display a useful moral flexibility. They do not question the nature of my work or my need for human subjects, and I do not illuminate them. Already they have begun acquiring new subjects at a far greater pace than I could, and a contingent remained to guard the vault itself. I must be careful. A mercenary is only as loyal as their pay, after all. My control of the vault security systems keeps them in check. For now. End log. Research log, Dr. Edgar Blackburn, number 148. I can feel the end approaching. The equations fall into place, and I can see the shape of it, the perfected FEV. Even in my restless dreams, that vision of the goal is the only succor now. What I have done to reach it can never be washed away. I have been right, but that is small comfort. I give them numbers now, and try not to listen when they speak to me, pleading. I prefer to sedate them when removing them from their holding cells. Unconscious, they cannot weep or stare accusingly at me. I cannot make them understand that we are alike part of a greater destiny. They think me inhuman, uncaring. I know I would be no different were our roles reversed. I do not blame them for hating me. I lie in my cot at night and see their faces. I remember them all, and wait for sleep to carry me to the visions of when I can finally stop. Final candidate number 3 is ready for verification. I am within 2, perhaps 3 iterations of success. Will I be able to sleep untroubled when this is over? Or will punishment for what I have done be a mercy, freeing me from its memory? End log.